There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone. Hello everyone and welcome to Sci-Fi Talk on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss shows on the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm Sean Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve, and today we'll be discussing episode 11 of season 5 of Van Helsing.
Well, that's a bit of a surprise.
Little bit, yeah.
A lot of things happening, and it's like, wait, holy crap, what are they doing? And then they threw us all for a loop by playing multiple episodes at once.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, I do hope you've watched everything. I'm going to do my best not to screw up and tell you the wrong episode, anything, but
right.
I will stick to the script, so to speak.
Yeah, we've got 10, 11, and 12 all in one night.
Well, do we have ratings on anything yet?
I'm not even bothering to look.
It's so crazy. When they do stuff like this, it kills the ratings. But hopefully everybody who's watched and is listening enjoyed this, because I know there was times where I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I am really starting to question where we're going, how we're ending this now.
Right.
Like, really, it's like, are we there yet? I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get there.
Yeah, it's going to be something unexpected, that's for sure.
Well, let's jump into episode 11, Undercover Mother, as the Dark One yearns to release her full power upon the real world. Her plans are interrupted by a strange visitor to the White House. Yeah, you can say that.
Yes.
Okay, so apparently the Brood leaders have finally made it to the White House. That seems to have taken a while, don't you think?
Just a bit, yeah.
I mean, since the Oracle has different means to call them, they could have been moving their butts quicker or got picked up by, I don't know, the helicopters the White House has.
Right.
But just saying, no, they took their sweet time getting there, apparently. But we have one Brood leader in particular who goes on about how 3 of them that are there have nice empires and doesn't know who this 4th one is. And there was a few other ones that were there too that didn't even acknowledge anything that was being said.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And of course, Mr. Big Mouth, he's like, tells the one who nobody seems to know,
right,
you are not going to stand in my way. And all I kept thinking is, this is probably really bad.
Yes.
It's like, you're pointing out somebody that nobody has seen, who's super calm. It's like, doesn't seem to be like the rest of them at all. I'm like thinking, nah, it can't be Vanessa, because that would be too easy.
Right.
But probably not a good thing. But as it turns out, I was right. It wasn't a Brood leader. It was the Dark One herself, who basically goes off on each of them for doing nothing while she was in the Dark Realm. And, well, if you've seen how Voldemort reacted, this was way worse.
Yes.
Okay. Takes them all out. And I loved everything going on Twitter, because they're like, the carpet cleaner comes in. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Where is all this damn blood coming from? What are you doing in here, Miss President?
I thought that was hilarious. Like, what people were talking about online and what was going on, I was just cracking up. Because then there was all the, are you serious memes? And a couple of the agains. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. You walk in, you're like, can we just put hardwood in here, please?
Yes.
But hey, after all of them are dead, in walks a familiar face. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What's her name again? Vanina?
Well, that's what I'm calling her, because it's part Vanessa, part Nina, but...
Oh, right.
Nina.
It's Nina. Again, okay, you're walking into the White House. Granted, you're invited, and most of the people know who you are, but not everybody.
Right.
So why are you coming in with all this blood all over your face?
Well, and I asked Jonathan about that, and he basically said that, when Vanessa first changed into Nina, she couldn't take vampire form because they're in Washington and it's supposed to be unknown that there's vampires hiding in the White House.
Right.
Basically. So that's why we didn't see her looking like vampire Nina. She was looking like human Nina. And that's probably how she got into the White House. And then once she got to the Oval Office, she changed back to vampire Nina.
I gotcha. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Trisha Helfner. Come on. She's awesome. I love when she's like, who are you? It's like, okay, you're the Dark One. You're supposed to be all knowing. And the Oracle over here should know some stuff too. And just, what is this? What's going on? That's all I kept thinking. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, you know what? I'm sorry I'm late. Glad I was. But guess what? I am the answer to your prayers. I took out the last Van Helsing. They did not believe her. Big surprise there.
Yeah.
But they wanted proof. Where's the amulet? And I love I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, okay, I could see that because maybe they didn't have it with them, whatever. But I got a little worried because I'm like, okay, wait, are they going to bust her out this fast? Because that would be kind of crazy.
Right.
But it's like, listen, I don't know what you're talking about. And then the Oracle, of course, was all, we would have sensed the power in the amulet and you should have brought it and we would know if they were dead. It's like, really? How would you know? How would you know?
Right.
But listen, Nina is all like, I can't give you what I don't have. And why would I just show up if I was lying? Because that would be dumb. You want me dead, right?
Right. Yeah.
She was playing this really well.
Oh,
I will tell you. Like, I love the way the actor's like, well, duh. The Dark One's like, yes. Why indeed? I'm like, all right, your old fashioned is showing right now.
Right.
But it's like, okay, you want some proof? Here, I give this to you because I'm your devoted servant. And immediately the Dark One is like, whoa, what's that? No, don't come closer.
Yeah.
And the Oracle's like, you're lying. It's like, well, okay, well, here, why don't you try it? I really thought she was going to doubt it. And I'm like, wow, that was dumb. That's all I kept thinking.
Right.
But, of course, the Dark One wants to know that she's telling the truth. So, hey, I didn't kill the loudmouth yet. So let's see if it's really Van Helsing blood, shall we? And she made him down. And now he was like, no. I've been loyal. It's like, just drink it. You're lucky you're not dead right now.
Right.
And when he does, of course, black goo comes back up. And it's like, oh, he is human.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. The Dark One is just like, huh, look at that. Now, I was questioning a lot of things with Vanessa's blood, and we'll get to that. But I was kind of surprised the Dark One was so afraid of it because I thought she was sure that it wouldn't harm her at all. But, like, obviously things were very different, and the Dark One was, like, freaking out a lot when we were discussing, I guess, Van Helsing getting too close.
Yeah. I think a lot of it was simply because she's not at full strength right now.
Ah, okay.
When she's at full strength, she feels that there's nobody that can kill her or damage her at all.
Okay. Like, she even jumped back, like, just when Nina, like, opened the vial. It's like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, not like just christening you with it was going to change you, but all right. The Oracle does ask, though, it's like, what did you do with the body? And she's like, well, I had to bury her, and that was only after I cut her into bits because she kept coming back.
Yeah.
Like, ew, but okay. And of course, what about everything else? I mean, you were found with Axel and Julius.
Right.
Like, well, they killed the Delta Vamps and left me for dead, so I went after them, kind of, sort of. But I found Violet and took care of her. It's like, oh, okay, interesting. And then the Oracle's like, okay, but what did you do with them? Because I think the Oracle's thinking, the same thing that everybody else would be thinking, like, oh, you're working with them or something. She's
right.
Like, no, I made it nice and slow. But see, the Oracle knows that they are former vampires, right?
Right.
So why would she think that they could be killed? Or did they not know any of that? Because I kept forgetting if they had that information. I
believe they had at least the information on the orange gas, which would kill humans as well as vampires. So
okay, that's why I was like,
at least.
That's why I was like, wait a second. I thought they knew that everybody that had been changed by Vanessa came back. But that's why I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, the Oracle decides to use some powers on Nina and sit her butt down on that couch. And of course, she's like, listen, my liege, she's working with the humans. We can't trust her. And okay, so the blood was real. We don't know anything about it. What about the amulet? Because once we have that, no one can stop you, but she's not giving us information. It's like, okay, I know you're freaking out, and I know you're like, we can't trust strangers, but you need to take a breath, because maybe Nina is your ally, even though we know she's not.
Right.
And the Dark One, of course, doesn't seem to trust anybody right now.
No.
Or paranoid, I would say. And she grabs the letter and approaches Nina and says, the Oracle says you can't be trusted. I'm thinking, she was right there. It's not like you're whispering.
Right.
And I'm laughing. I'm like, oh, obviously. It's like, don't listen. Okay. And then Nina's like, well, you know what? The Oracle's the one that seems to be failing you over and over. And she couldn't even kill me. I mean, come on.
Right.
And it's like, wait a second. Dark One had a bit of a pause there, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Like, maybe time will tell. I love it because this whole time you see like that brood leader who was turned human, like crawling
trying
behind
to
the
crawl
desk
out
and then like trying to get over to the door. And it's like, okay, you need to chill. But the Dark One's like, can't be too careful in these dark times. But there is a shortage of brides after all.
Right.
And I'm like, uh-oh, is she going to try to turn her? I mean, not turn her, but like, I guess turn her into a bride or something.
Right.
Because she puts that letter opener to her throat and then Nina starts coughing. And it's like, I think the Oracle was a bit ticked that she might be trying to bring her in as a bride.
Oh, hell yes.
Because she yells and then that's when, oh, hey, there's a lot more going on here, obviously. Don't you want to find out? It's like, oh my gosh. Okay, you're baiting her and she's taking it.
Right.
But this is when our brood leader was not smart because he probably could have made it had he stayed low, but he got up to try to run.
Right.
And hey, that letter opener came right to his throat. It's like, bye, guy whose name we don't know.
Right.
Jack and Ivory. Holy crap. Now, I was not expecting them to come the same way as Axel and Violet. And yet, here they are.
Yeah. That main highway must have just dead ended somewhere.
Or merged back or something. Did one of them take like I don't know what it's called now, the one expressway that goes around this city, like to come back to the main highway? Is that what it is? I forgot what they're called. Sorry. I know somebody's probably yelling at their phone.
Right.
But Ivory's like, I think I know somebody who can smuggle us in. And they go to the trading post and hey, look it's that guy. He's still there and he's a little bit more open with information, it seems. Kinda, sorta.
Not without being paid.
Yeah, well, like I said, kinda, sorta.
Yeah.
And I love that he's trying to get them to buy stuff.
Yeah, he had an awful large amount of Make America Great Again hats, so he's trying to pawn them off as fast as he could.
I'm like, okay, so this is obviously supposed to take place, like, all right, reality happened up to this point, and then we have, like, this different timeline for not just the fact that it's vampires, but president and stuff. But I'm like, oh, okay, so they're bringing some reality, and I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And, oh, here, have something to take back to the real world. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Just the fact that he said that, just that one line, really has me questioning if any of this is supposed to be real. Like, I will honestly tell you, tinfoil hat, full on. I'm like, is this some kind of medical experiment they were doing on Vanessa somehow? And it's like almost like VR, where it's like it expanded out. And like other people who were part of it were all being kind of sucked into this one kind of storyline. That would be messed up.
Yeah.
But just that one line, I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I think I've been watching too much Doctor Who. But it was like...
Now, he may have been referring to Washington, D.C. as the real world that has the wall around it and no vampires in it and all that good stuff. So
I'm sure that's what he meant. But it was just like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it going to be something crazy? Which you never know. But if it happens, I totally called it.
Yeah.
Anyway, our proprietor's like, I know what you want. And what you want is going to cost you. And Ivory, of course, is like, yeah, we don't trust you. And I don't know if we can trust anybody. But Jack mentions, hey, you know a guy, don't you? Somebody who can get us through. And of course, the proprietor is like, oh, hey, nice sword. It's like, really? Pay attention. It's like, want to snap in his face, like, focus.
Right.
He wants Ivory's sword. And he almost got it, just not in the way that he wanted it.
Yeah.
And I love we're trying to save the world and you can be part of it. And he's like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, no thanks.
And right then the door opens and what turns out to be Diggs comes through with a mask on. And they're like, you sold us out. And she's about to take out the proprietor. I mean, I'm like, this is not good. And of course, there's the whole back and forth. Is there a price on our head? What is it? Who sent you? It's like, no. Axel sent me.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, sorry, guys. Like, boy, you guys calm down way too quick for me.
Right.
I don't know. I think I'd still be on high alert. You don't know. Just because they had Axel's name, that means nothing.
Well, and he
Trust
knew their
no
name,
one.
too.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll give you that. But as they leave, apparently, we've missed them by just a few days. So we at least have a timeline.
Right.
Again, it's like, okay, things are coming together, just a couple days, moving out. Well, what's the plan? And Diggs is like, well, I have to take you to the Coyote Tunnel so you can get through to DC, and they'll find you on the other side. And Ivory, again, why does everybody just spill all the information, though?
Right.
Where? Did they mention the park and the sundial? It's like, what? I don't know anything. I'm just supposed to get you through. And he opens the van door, and the girls look at each other like, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are getting in without a fight. Okay, this is how bad things happen. I'm just saying. And then we get to see a really weird sight.
Right.
DC looking 100% normal. It's like, what?
Yeah. What the hell is going on?
And I had tweeted that. I'm like, okay, it's weird seeing this look normal. And I did get a response. Was that the showrunner who was answering Musk?
Yes.
When he's like, yeah, they're the ones that built the wall. That's why everything looks normal inside. It's like, no, I get that. It's just after all of these years
Right.
of seeing like basically wasteland, it was so strange just seeing normal everything. It's like, oh, okay, everything's just running like, okay, I get it. And then when we see Jack and Ivory like emerge from the tunnels, it's not a tunnel. It's like a warehouse they walk through, basically. Like, what the heck? I was expecting like them to come up in like a sewer or a storm drain.
Cover, yeah.
Yeah. No, they're just like walking out through a warehouse. It's like, oh, okay. And Ivory, of course, is smart enough to say, it's not safe. We need to keep moving. And that's when we see just random people kind of in the background walking. And I'm like, what is happening?
Right. Yes. They look like protesters because they had signs with them.
Yes. And I'm like, aren't you guys inside and safe? What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah. And even though they would normally just be blending in because there'd be a ton of people, there were not that many people. So they still did kind of stand out. But one thing they did notice was a wanted poster, and Jack was not on it.
Right. But Axel, Violet, and Ivory were.
Yes. So Ivory definitely had to keep her head down.
And hood up.
Yeah. Thankfully, it wasn't midsummer.
Yeah.
But hey, they get over to the park, and like we said, there was protesters, so that's helping a little bit. But we hear the protesters talking about the orange cloud.
Right.
And it's like, we haven't seen anything here. And oh my gosh, again, I'm like, just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
I want to slap somebody when they start that. Well, I haven't seen it. You know what? You can't see germs either, but shut up. We see the sundial, and Jack's like, all right, I got to go check it out. And I think Ivory was like, no, you stay here. I'll go. Because Ivory wants to do like all of the dangerous stuff.
Right.
But again, Jack's like, I am not on the posters.
Right.
Let's try to keep you hidden.
Yeah. Especially with that sword in your backpack.
Right? Like nobody's going to notice that.
Right.
But there is a message at the sundial, which I thought was kind of weird how she finds it. But, well, okay, great. We're going to head out and get the information. And then what? That's all I kept thinking. If they're looking for you, where are you hiding exactly?
Right.
And as I'm thinking this, a policeman takes notice of Ivory's sword.
Yep.
And informs her no one's supposed to be armed. It's like, well, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen? Well, Jack ends up knocking him out, thankfully.
Right.
Because I thought Ivory was going to take his head. And I'm like, this is not good.
No.
You're going to be very noticed all of a sudden. But the guy who was leading the protest, which was breaking up that fast.
Right.
Like, that wasn't exactly a protest, but okay. He's like, hey, I know you guys. Come with me. I'll take you to the resistance. And those two go willingly. And again,
right.
What? But they end up going through a gate and they had their heads covered. It's like, really? Okay, I hope you weren't walking this whole way because I'd be tripping on my own feet all the time.
Right, exactly.
But anyway, it's like, oh, sorry about this, but we have to be careful. And as he takes the hoods off, who do we see? I was like, no. How the hell did she get here?
Helicopter.
Weathers from Fort Collins greets Ivory and's like, welcome to DC. Let's go do some stuff. I almost said something else.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go mess stuff up, basically. And of course, Weathers is like, well, where's Violet? And Ivory's like, somewhere safe, I hope. Oh, by the way, this is her sister, Jack Van Helsing. It's like, okay. Yeah, I read your file. And we thought you were dead because they said you were missing, presumed dead. Jack's like, yeah, let's keep it that way for now. It's like, yeah, I get it. But maybe give her a little bit more information since we know she's on our side.
Right. But Jack's still a little leery because she wasn't there when Weathers helped Violet and Ivory escape.
Yeah, but I mean, she's willing to give information to everybody else.
Right.
At least help the person who knows part of the team. But I thought it was interesting because when Ivory says Jack's full name, the guy who brought them there, who was leading the protest, all of a sudden he gets all like, did you say Jack Van Helsing? And gets down on one knee. It's like, the prophecy has come full circle. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, hold on.
We got crazy man. What's happening here? And then we find out that Jack's story has been passed down through generations of Roma and the story of the two Jacks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this sounds like too unbelievable.
I called it when the episode when Jack left and got on the boat. I said, naming the kid Jack, that's the beginning of the Van Helsing story.
That's so weird, though. But he also explains that they were told that one of the Jacks time traveled to the past and the other was actually the offspring of Olivia. It's like, what?
Yep.
You guys were told that and nobody tried to figure out what's what?
Well, you got to remember the Romas were Bathory's people.
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about that.
Yep.
But baby Jack grew up to start the greatest vampire hunting family in history. And Jack, our Jack, is a little weirded out because she had no idea that Olivia's baby actually was an ancestor of hers.
Right, yes.
Because she didn't have any part of that stuff.
No.
Like, she left, she saved the baby and left. It's like, okay, yeah, this is going to be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Trying to like wrap your head around all of that all of a sudden. And he asked Jack if she had the container that his people created to contain the Dark One's spirit. And she's like, yes. And also the scroll of Alexandra. It's the only way to neutralize the power of the Dark One. And he seemed excited. He's like, great. Do you know how to read it? It's like, no. She's with her same energy.
Yeah, you're the Roma. Aren't you the one that's supposed to be able to read this?
You know what? That's what I was thinking. Like, why did they teach the legend of the two Jacks, but not how to read that ancient language?
Right.
But don't worry, we got somebody. And the plan is unfolding right now as she pulls the note from her pocket and hands it to Ivory. It's like, can you fill in the rest of the class, please?
Yeah.
Like, quit passing notes. We do see at the White House, though, the Oracle walking with a security report after she just so abruptly got it from one of the security guards. And she's walking away, and we see the vice president wants to speak with her. And she had to hurry up and switch her face again.
Right.
She turns around. She's like, how did you get in here? It's like, I'm the vice president. It's not like it's hard.
Right.
And all of a sudden, yeah, apparently it's going to get a lot harder for you to get in. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because she has the guards take him out. Pretty much just drag his butt out of there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I don't let him back in. It's like, what the heck? And you don't think anything's weird at this point.
Right. That's not going to draw suspicion.
Right. And instead, she just tromps off to the Oval Office and informs the Dark One that I have something to show you. Something that stray dogs shouldn't see. It's like, really? My God, you're a jealous one.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's had the Dark One all to herself for all these centuries.
Yeah. Yeah, but she had Michaela for a while.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that long.
Yeah, I don't know. She's just kind of
Possessive
clingy.
much, yes.
The Dark One does have Nina leave, and she doesn't go very far, though. It's like, oh, okay. I'm not closing the door all the way either, because I'm going to eavesdrop.
Yep.
And the Dark One is shown a security photo of Jack and Ivory, and Jack has the amulet on her neck. Why does nobody put it in their freaking shirt?
Exactly.
And the Oracle's like, I'm not the only one who made a mistake. And I thought the Oracle was going to get beat down.
Oh, yes. As soon as she opened her mouth, I went, oh, no. We're going to lose Bathory before we can change her.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you're stupid. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I kept thinking. It's like, oh, this person gets very mad when I screw up. Let me show her that she screwed up. I'm sure nothing will happen now.
No, not at all.
Like, oh my gosh. So the Dark One tells her, I have to have the amulet and the head of that Van Helsing. And of course, the Oracle, I promise you, I'll do it. And that's when we see Nina at the door and realizing, crap, Jack's been found. We're kind of screwed.
Yeah, already. Hadn't been in town for 6 hours.
It's like, damn it, you're screwing up the plan. But I mean, how were they supposed to know that all of the security cameras and stuff were going to be working and they were going to be looking for them?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I'm sure it was Ivory that got security's attention, and then it just so happens that the other person with her was Jack Van Helsing.
Yeah, true. Later that evening, we have the Roma and Jack just creeping out to the sundial to leave a message for Vanessa. And of course, the Roma thinks, you shouldn't have come. I could have just done this. And she's like, I didn't travel through time to hang out on the sidelines. No, but maybe you traveled through time to try to not get killed right away.
Right, yes.
Just a thought. And she insists on being the one to put the message at the sundial. Let him do it. Then stay hidden. Something.
Right.
And of course, he's like, okay, fine. I'll keep an eye out for police. Because you hear them going around. It was like, if you're out after sunset?
Right.
I think there was a curfew set or something like that. And so Jack goes to the sundial and places the note and looks around, but stops because she feels a presence. She turns around and we see Nina has the Roma up against the tree. It's like, why were you following her? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, all right, well, at least he's smart enough not to start blabbing everything.
Right.
And Jack comes up from behind with a gun drawn and is about to say something. And she does get out, who are you and how do you know my name?
Right.
And that's when Nina turns around and it's like, because I'm your mother, and drops the Roma. It's like, Jack doesn't know what's going on.
No.
That's probably not the way to go. And of course, Jack wants proof. It's like, I can't do anything because you got busted being out in the open. I can't be seen. And I'm thinking, well, if they're probably watching cameras now, you're going to be seen being there anyway, right?
Right. Very possible.
But it's like, listen, I'm able to change my appearance because I learned this in the Dark Realm. So we can't let anybody see me. Otherwise, everything's going to fall apart.
Right.
Well, you're going to have to tell me something I don't know. It's like, that's not going to help. That's all I kept thinking. It's like, all right, tell me something. But they managed to get, I don't know, down an alley where I'm guessing there's not going to be any cameras close to the reason. And Jack's like, listen, it's too dangerous for you to be inside the White House. And of course, Vanessa is like, yeah, don't worry about me. Because she had changed then to finally show her face. And Jack's like, Bathory, listen, we need her. So don't mess this up and don't get killed. But yeah, that's probably not going to work either. But they plan to at least get Bathory into, was it a warehouse?
Yeah.
So we can try to change her back.
Right. Into the Resistance headquarters.
Oh, right. But it wasn't going to be till tomorrow.
Right.
Now you knew when they said tomorrow and we don't have much time to prepare. It's like, crap.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen.
Yeah. This will not go as planned.
Never does.
It's been Van Helsinged.
I like that. Vanessa's like, okay, do you trust these people? And of course, Jack's like, yeah, the Romans been fighting for this whole situation longer than we've been. It's like, yeah, well, I guess it should have been a way to tell Vanessa at that point. Oh, yeah, and they created the first Van Helsing, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, they're our ancestors. But Vanessa asks if Axel and Violet made it, and Jack, of course, says, I don't know. I think so, but I haven't seen them yet. It's like, all right, well, we'll have to do it ourselves then. And I'll be there to help control Bathory so you can bite her. And this is where things started to get weird for me again, too. Because Jack's like, well, why can't you bite her? And Vanessa explains that she was bit by one of the elders.
Yeah,
and it had
she
no
was
effect.
bit. Yeah.
But the girls can do something different because they're like a 2.0 version.
Right.
But I was confused because Vanessa was bit by Flesh. Did she bite Julius, I think?
Yeah.
And a couple others, and Doc. And it's like all these people were able to change back and come back to life if they were hurt, even as human. Like they couldn't die. Because we remember Flesh shooting himself in the head.
Right.
And that's why I'm like, I'm really confused because, okay, if it's because she got bit by an elder that she can't change anybody anymore or that it would have no effect.
No, it's just that when the elder bit her, it didn't have an effect on the elder.
So we're thinking Bathory's an elder?
Yeah, her blood, because it's been passed down through generation, and generation, it's not as strong as it was originally. It's kind of been diluted through the decades. But with Violet and Jack, they kind of got a boost from their father's experimentations.
Okay. But
So, yeah, Vanessa can take out normal vampires by biting them easily. But yeah, he doesn't quite have enough juice, I don't think, to really change a major vampire.
So is that why the brood leader didn't, like, basically he bled out? Well, we don't know if he died because it was just assumed he bled out and died.
Yeah.
So we don't know if he got back up.
Yeah, more than likely he did not. More blood on the carpet.
That's why I was like, why would he not get back up if he drank Vanessa's blood?
Right.
Because Flesh did a hell of a lot more. That's where I was getting confused. And when she was explaining this, I'm like, wait a second.
Right. I agree with you that brood leader should have been healed and gotten out of there.
Right. Like maybe not right away because like Flesh didn't recover right away.
Right. And yeah, it's possible that getting killed that soon after converting back, you don't have the healing powers yet. And he did die.
That's why I said I just didn't understand some of it. I felt like you're like overriding what you already had put out there.
Right.
And that's when I started to get a little confused with things. Anyway, let's get back to the actual storyline here, where Jack does explain that she bit the Dark One and put part of the Dark One into the amulet.
Right.
And that Violet took that in and spat it back out, but she felt possessed by the darkness. And she said she hardly survived. And Vanessa's like, listen, Violet and you're something else. You're something new. And don't worry, we're all going to do this together. And we just need to work together and have courage and your determination. And by the way, I'm proud of you. It's like, what? Thanks for the pep talk. Weird time to throw that in, I guess.
Right, but Vanessa hasn't had the opportunity. So all that time in the Dark Realm made her rethink her priorities, and apparently her daughters are now much higher on the list of her priorities.
Yeah, because she was very much with the, don't worry, it's going to work out. We'll see each other again.
Yep.
All right, I got to go. Bye. It's like, okay. And she returns to the White House as Nina. And the Oracle, of course, with the Oracle's little attitude out in the hallway is like, you were out late. What were you doing? And by the way, I'm going to be the only bride of the Dark One, and we're going to fight. And I'm like, dang, because Vanessa/Nina, or Vanina, like you said, man, they started doing all this awesome fighting without touching each other.
Right.
And the Oracle was actually getting her butt handed to her.
Yes.
I'm like, check this out. And of course, was it the Oracle that went flying into the Oval Office, like through the door?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, which one got...
No, well, yeah, I don't think Vanessa pushed her because she had gotten up from being thrown into the wall and just beelined it for the Oval Office, knowing that she was already outgunned here, so...
Oh, I thought she threw her through the door.
No.
Like,
she just fell through the door because they were both trying to see who was going to be first.
And of course, the Dark One with all her humor. Oh, there's no need to fight over me. It's like, really? And that's when Nina reveals that she's found Jack and she does have the amulet and I'm going to retrieve it for you tonight. And it's like, no. It's like, wait, what do you mean no? It's like, no, I need it now. And I'm going to send the Oracle, but you're going to stay here with me. It's like, it's probably not good.
No.
Now, was she just going to tell her where she's found Jack? Be like, okay, just go here.
She has to now. And then she said,
Okay.
yeah, well, I'll go with her. No, you're staying right here. And you go, oh,
Yeah,
man.
I guess she didn't have much of a choice.
Nope.
So I guess that kind of wipes out B. It's like, how is she going to stop the Oracle then?
Right.
But we have the Resistance headquarters, which it seems like, okay, if this is supposed to be happening right away, they are really slow.
Right.
Because the Resistance is like, okay, the Oracle's going to come and we'll have to try to stop them. I know we don't have a lot of time, but oh crap, look, they're here.
Right.
And then we just have a fight ensue, and it's like, where did all of these Dark Ops guys come from?
Yeah, they came with the Oracle.
There's just so many. And how did nobody hear them coming in? Because they were like all over the place.
Right.
And this is what I thought was weird, because Ivy ends up going down with a knife to the midsection, which she's been stabbed and like shot and everything else and gets back up fine. And suddenly it's like, oh no, I'm going down. I can't get up. It's like, what is happening?
Did she?
You weren't affected by the dust?
Yeah.
Again, unless it's supposed to be like, oh no, we were affected and somehow just made it. But you're not showing us that. So it just feels weird.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it's just me. But anyway, Jack runs over to check on Ivory. And of course, Ivory's like, where's Vanessa? Like, well, this wasn't part of the plan. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. And the fight is still going on. And Ivory's like, Jack, you need to go. You need to run. It's like, no, it's the only shot we have. So she's going to give herself up. And the Oracle drags her close, but not by dragging her by the neck or anything. She's dragging her by the amulet.
Yes.
Which every time somebody grabs that damn thing, it falls right off their neck. And yet somehow the chain is strong enough to drag both the amulet and Jack across the room this time.
Right.
I'm like, all right, who is not writing down what you're doing? Because this doesn't make sense.
Right.
Grr. Back at the Oval Office, you have Nina and the Dark One talking, and Nina's like, oh, you should let me go. The stakes are too high. And the Dark One's like, yes, it is. And that's why Bathory's there. Because Bathory's been by my side for centuries. And she worships every fiber of my body. It's like, all right, don't get weird here, lady.
Yeah. Let's not go down that path.
Right. Because that's not what we're talking about right now.
No.
We're talking about basically taking out a Van Helsing. And she hasn't been able to do it so far. Why are you going to think it's going to be different now?
Right.
But Nina does say, you know what? I put my life on the line just coming here. And the Dark One does not know what she's talking about. Not really. Because she's just like, there's something you're not telling me. Well, of course there's something I'm not telling you because you don't know that I'm Vanessa. But besides that, the Dark One does mention, how did you know that part of my spirit was trapped in the amulet?
Yeah.
I thought at this point she was going to just say, because Bathory's got a big mouth.
Right.
Be like, sure, throw her on the bus. But instead she says, while I was listening, I overheard about the amulet because I wanted to impress you a little bit. And that's why I was trying to act big. And again, the whole maybe, maybe not. It's like, okay, stop. Don't worry, because the mystery will soon be over when I have all of my power. And I bring the humans to their knees. It's like, all right, now you're monologuing. This is going to get bad for you. But the Dark One is like, all right, you're going to stay here tonight and you're not going to mess anything up. It's like, oh, yeah, so it's me?
Yeah.
I'm the one screwing up? But apparently, Vanessa has way more powers than she had before.
Yes.
Because she senses Jack's in trouble and uses her powers to turn a couple of the Black Ops guys against the Oracle, which I thought was really, really good because they almost took out another member of the Resistance and ended up turning on each other.
Right.
And then turning on the Oracle. So it's like, what? And we have, what was it? The Oracle starting to go on and on about how, oh, your head will make a lovely gift for my beloved. It's like, stop talking. If you're going to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
I just get so frustrated when the bad guys are like, oh, I'm going to tell you all of this stuff and it's not going to matter.
Right.
And of course, that's when the Black Ops people step in and they start firing at the Oracle. And she's using her powers to go all Matrix on them.
Yes.
Stop the bullets and then took a couple of them out, like by turning the bullets or something. And I'm what just happened? But that's when Ivory gets up and just slashes her with her sword. And the Oracle
lost it, man. She went right over the head and threw it.
The Oracle was like, whoa, I can get this out. But as she's pulling it out, Jack bites her. It's like, yeah, all right. And you're thinking, that's the end of this. She's going to be back to normal. Is that ever what happens? No. But at the same time that this is happening, we have the White House, like the moment when the Dark One feels Bathory, I guess, change, and she drops her drink all slow-mo. More blood on the carpet. Bring in the carpet cleaners. And of course, as black goo comes up, that's so gross when they do that. It really is. But Jack's like, Bathory, do you remember me? Do you remember everything? You're back. You're human. And Bathory stands up. And is she blind at this point or not blind? I couldn't remember.
She's blind.
Okay. And she's speaking, I guess, Roma, but it was like babbling.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second. You were speaking English before, so what happened?
Right.
And Ivory grabs her trying to calm her down, but she's struggling, and Jack doesn't have a clue what's happening. So maybe she's just having a moment, okay? Give her a second. She's been Bathory or the Oracle for
centuries.
Yeah.
And now just being turned to human. Yeah, that may take a while.
Yeah. And we have our moment with Vanina and the Dark One, because the Dark One's like, she's gone. And that's when Vanina smiles, and she sits in the big chair.
She got some balls.
Yeah. She's like, I thought she'd be done with her. Like, if she keeps failing you, like, why are you so caught up with her? Is basically what she's saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Dark One is pretty ticked off. Why are you so eager? Why did you want to go with her so bad? And Vanina is struggling. And it's like, because I knew she'd fail. And of course, the Dark One's all like, you're working with the Van Helsings, and grabs her out the chair. I love that. I'm thinking, no, she's not working with the Van Helsings exactly.
No.
She's like, you brought that blood here and set everything in motion. It's like, no, it was really all you. And you set it all in motion by trapping me in the Dark Realm. Bam! What?
Yeah, I don't know if the Dark One, it didn't hit her at first. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
It's like, you can't hurt me. It's like, oh, really? Let's find out. And Vanina bites her. And I loved it because it's like, wait, what? What are you doing? Hold on.
Yeah.
What's happening? I love that she got nervous and freaking out all of a sudden. It's like, good. You deserve it.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Yeah, she was able to just grab that arm, and the Dark One could not do anything about it.
No, it was about time.
Yeah.
It was crazy though, like all the back and forth, and I kept feeling like, okay, somebody's going to get blown, like their cover is just going to be just squashed in like a second.
Right.
Although it worked out, but who knows what's happening, because Bathory was just all like crazy.
Right.
So now we wait and see, right? But at least we got to watch the next episode right away.
Yeah. And Jonathan did say that he was very glad that we saw these 3 episodes together. It seemed to make more sense to him that they show them all together instead of waiting a week apart. But I can see, with this one and 12, we're kind of a 2-part episode. So
I would have been okay with waiting just because you get that anticipation built up.
Right.
And maybe get some answers.
Figure out some of the questions from this episode.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Because you know how my brain is working on this so far. Let us know by shooting us an email at sci-fi-talk@fangirlzone.com. That's SYFYTALK@fangirlzone.com. And while you're at it, if you can rate and review us on every platform you find us on, good ratings and reviews help other fans of the show find us. Tell your friends about the show. They can totally catch up before the final, and we can all watch together and freak out. We, of course, hope you're enjoying our podcast. And don't forget to check out www.fangirlzone.com. Our contacts page is there. You can shoot us emails and tweet with us and Facebook message. Whatever you got, we're there for you. And for this episode of Sci-Fi Talk, I am Sean Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve. It only made me stronger, more powerful.
And until next time.